Gotta figure out whenever this song ends. When does this song end? Is it now? Oh my god, I think it ended. Alright, the song ended. What's up, everybody? How you doing? What are you doing today? What is going on? It's Friday, and I think I just got an eyelash in my eye. I don't know what just happened. Something's in my eye right at the beginning. Okay, I don't know. We'll see what happens. What's up, everybody? How you doing? It's Friday, the Ocho. The Ocho. Why am I so close? I feel like I'm zoomed in. I feel like, am I enhanced? There we go. There we go. That's better. I feel like I was super enhanced there. I don't know what was going on. I was like way up close. Why was I so close to you guys? What was the deal? Why was I so close to the camera? Was it a twist of the lens? Could have been a twist of the lens. What's going on, everybody? It's Friday the Ocho. That's right. That's right. That's right. It's 1 week. 1 week from my birthday. 1 week from my birthday, you fools. You fools. It's 1 week from my birthday. So, yeah, we got that going for us. Where was it? Where did I post it? I posted it somewhere in the Discord that we have to, what's our goal this year for the birthday live stream? I think I put it in here. Let me scroll back. I got to scroll back. Yeah. So here we go. The birthday stream. The birthday stream fan support goal was 100,000. And it got upped. It got upped to 300,000. So, you know, we got big goals for the birthday. The birthday stream. Come on, guys. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, anyhow. Week for my birthday and tax day. So get your taxes done, you guys. Get your freaking taxes on. Get crazy with your taxes. Just get those taxes, scoop them up, put them in an envelope, and ship them. Just ship them out there. Ship them out and get them done. And the next thing you know, they will be done. They will be done. Before we get rolling into today's topic, we're warming up, you know. We don't just jump right into it. We gotta let people roll in here. They're like, is this even live? Do we even know? Is it even live for real? I've literally had people show up to a live stream on numerous occasions and be like, I don't think this is live. This is probably not live. It is live. This is the live stream. I don't know. I don't know how much more I could add information-wise to the stream. Hold on. Should I make a live button? We should do that real quick, right? What is this? Oh, we don't need that. Let's remove that. We don't need this. Oh my god, I have like so many extra things in my taskbar down here. Here, we could use this one probably. There we go. Let's modify it. Let's modify it. So it says live. Should we make it red? Let's make it red. Where's just like a strong red color? Oh, Lord. It doesn't give us a good red? Why can't I pick from just good red? Look at that. That's like brick. It's like bric-a-brac. What? What? Oh. Maybe that one? Let's go like this. And then we'll make it smaller since it's so big. You know? And then let's give it an effect. Filters? Transition. None? Fade to black? No, that's not good. We don't want that. Style. Color? What's the color code for red? Color code for red. Crimson. Red. Really? It's 0000? That's what it already is. That's the color code we got. F00000, right? That one? Can we modify it up here? Oh, we can. Look at that. We can give it a pound. Boop. FF and 4 zeros, right? FF. Uh-oh, I've got 3 Fs. That's too many Fs. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. 0, 0, 0, 0. Enter. I guess that's as red as we can get with this this Wang Jangler we got here. Okay. Style, it does that. Color, it does that. Distance, angle, scroll, fade. Can we have it to fade? Can we push that button? Animation. Fade. Interval. How many milliseconds do we want? 500? Does that work? No, the animation doesn't work. Delimiter. No, we don't want that. Oh, look. How long? What? How does this delimiter work? Do I put eyes in here? Oh, there we go. We go like that. 3. No, 3 is too many. 1, 2? 1. No, come on now. 2. 500 milliseconds must be just like way too long. Let's go 10. And phase speed. 10. That doesn't work. Animation's on. Is it fading? No. Scroll? Oh, it turns black. Oh, what a cool piece of software. How much fun is that? There's a way to do it. How do we I swear, like turn the animation on, scroll, right to left, left to right. Speed. Oh my god, it's going that fast? It's going too fast or something. I guess we turn that up. I don't know. Let's get rid of this. This is the best part of the show, by the way, guys. Welcome to the show where I make a thing. Yeah, there we go. Good. Anyhow, let's update our members. Our memberships has dropped. We've gone down. We've gone down in memberships, folks. So we're down to 77. Let's reload our Patreon page over here. I think it's correct. Yep, 137. Okay, that's how many patrons we got. Solid. I don't even know if there's something funny about the number 137. I don't even know. It's possible. Who knows? Topics of the day. So what have I been working on today? The big move is coming along, and yeah, there's just a whole bunch of crap to deal with. And I got to admit, I don't like Comcast, but I'm gonna have to use Comcast, you guys. This is a serious bummer. Obviously, internet connectivity is a concern. And could likely lead to a big problem. We might end up losing the live stream here, unless I do some pretty wild moves with Comcast here to see if I can work out a deal with them. Because currently, the best service that I can get only uploads at 30 megabits a second. Megabits? Megabytes. Megabits. Which is hopefully good. If the latency is good and the throughput is good, that should be fine. It's not great. It's pretty terrible, to be honest with you. It's the 21st century here. It's 2022. I don't know if they realized. They've had like 30 years now to get their nonsense together, get it figured out. But the cost is going to go way up. Even with that, the cost is going to go way up because it's going to increase by like $80 a month for like way worse service than I have right now. But there's another option. There's an option to get potentially fiber optic run out there, but I don't know yet. I spent like 2 hours on the phone on hold and then talking with people and then on hold and then getting switched to another like person, and then I was actually talking to somebody on the East Coast at some point, right? I was legit talking to somebody on the East Coast at one point, and they just said, "Oh, you're like so far out of my service area, I can't even answer that question. I don't even know because I'm in the wrong. We're in the wrong district, right? Just totally in the wrong district." And I was like, "What? Great." And it was a bummer. It was a total bummer because then I had to go sit on hold for another half an hour. So I was trying to figure that out, and here's the problem: is like I think I can get fiber optic run out there, but it's a $500 installation fee, it's a $500 activation fee, and it costs $350 a month, guys. Which is like, I don't even know if I could do the math in my head right now. Yeah, it's like 5 times the amount that I'm paying right now for internet. That's kind of pissing me off. It's kind of making me pretty pissed off right now. But we'll see if they can even install it, because they're like, you have to wait 2 business days for them to get back to you about whether or not they could even do that out there. So it's gonna be a paddling for somebody. Somebody's gonna get a paddling. That's all I'm saying. Oh my gosh, I don't even have my stream window open. Where is it? Is it over here? Oh, it's over here. Okay. Whew. Had to check the stream health, make sure that it was good. Do we have enough likes or viewers? We don't have enough viewers or likes. That's true. We don't have enough yet. We don't have enough yet to talk about the the topic. We need more viewers to talk about the topic. That's how it's going to go. Yeah, Wayne Talbot says it. Yeah, only $350 a month. Yeah, totally normal. And also with 1,000 plus 300 plus an extra 20. It's like $1,500 to get it installed. Just nuts. It's just totally crazy. It's like, what are you talking about? Why would it be? So it's kind of a disaster as far as the internet goes. But like I said, I'm gonna talk to the tech and see what they say, because they might come back with something interesting. Because my other resolution was like, well, why don't you just can I just install 2 services, so that I could have like one for the fish room and then one for the one for the fish room and then one for the house. And he said no. He was like, we will not do that. We cannot do that. Hold on, guys. I got to mute you for a second. I got to answer the phone. Hold on. All right, we're back. Don't you worry, guys. I was getting a phone call from the spouse, from my partner lady, Victoria, and I was wondering. I was just like wondering how What was I wondering about? I don't know. I've lost my train of thought. Sorry. Hold on. I gotta link something here. I gotta throw a link out here to some dinguses. Some dinguses. I gotta throw some links out here for some dingleberries. You know how it is. You know how it is, folks. Hold on. Anyhow, yeah. Sorry, I got some idiots messaging me now. All right, there we go. Hold on a second. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. What were we doing? I forget what we were doing. I lost track. Vicky called, and I was worried that you had some issues. I don't know. I'm distracted. What do you want me to do? People are going crazy. Yeah, Big D Smoke says, what the hell, $400? Yeah, it's like $400 a month for internet. So, I'm like I said, I'm not sure what I'm going to do at this point. I got the tech supposed to call me in the next 2 business days, which, of course, means like, oh, it's Friday, so good luck. Wait till Tuesday or whatever, right? So I've got the techs on the line. We're going to see what's going on. And figure out exactly what I'm going to do, because I might just end up going with the standard internet, and that's a bummer because, like, they always promise, like, these really good speeds, but, you know, they always have, like, a little asterisk down there at the bottom that says, you know, we don't guarantee any of these speeds. But then it's like, well, why do you advertise that then, you know? So we're going to figure it out. You know, and the unfortunate part is that, like, I got the equipment. Well, I've got most of the equipment. There's still a few things that I need to get for the new live stream setup, and, like, the plans of how I want that to work and operate. To have, like, multiple cams set up in the fish room so that I can work on stuff and live stream and talk to you guys while I'm doing stuff. And yeah, I mean, if I don't have internet service, I won't be able to stream, right? So then it's like, oh crap, what am I gonna do? And try and figure out, like, what ultimately could be done realistically. Then of course you start to think, like, oh, is there some kind of other thing that could be done? But I just don't. There's no other provider out there. There's, like, only one provider there. It's Comcast, and there's just nothing that can be done at this point. Although I was researching, and I found out that there are two 5G towers up near there. Like, I think they're near there. I don't know. I think they're near the new house, but I was like, okay. Let me look into the let me look into the 5G situation, and there's a bunch that there's 2 different providers up there, and then but they're still in testing phase. So it's pretty ridiculous to go, like, well, maybe the 5G will show up at some point in time. And it's possible. It's possible that it might show up in, like, June. And it'd be like, oh, crap, there we go. It's here now. Big D says Starlink. Starlink service is terrible. I think Starlink works on the LTE, I think. Starlink like actual speed. I think their upload speed is like 15, I think. I think their upload speed is like 15 meg. Yeah, I think their upload speed is like 15 meg, and then I think if it's perfectly optimized, it's 30. I think 28.6. Yeah, so it's even shy of 30 when in optimal situation. So like, I mean, Starlink would be like a possibility if you have no service whatsoever, I guess. Um, but it's a disaster, and I realistically don't think that Starlink is going to be um, reasonable, even because of the fact that some people I know that like signed up for Starlink still haven't even got their receiver, and it's been like 6 months. So I guess you could sign up for it and like not get the service, which that's ridiculous. There's just no reason to do that. Like I said, like the new house with the new fish room shop, whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't know. I haven't dubbed a name for it yet. It already has a Comcast line run to the building, so it's actually pretty simple to hook up. I basically would just order the hardware, hook it up, then self-test it to see if it's operating properly and if I'm actually getting what you're supposed to be, what you're promised paying for, whatever you want to call it. I could self-test it, do all the diagnostic, run the cables around and all that kind of stuff. That's all pretty easy and not a big deal. The big issue is that upload speed is on like a ridiculous situation. And then here's what's even funnier. So I own my own modem. Like I own a modem. And so I'd be like, hey, I don't want to pay for your modem. That's goofy. So what Comcast did is that they put a cap. They put a data cap on their service. So they say you could only have like, 1.2 terabytes of information run through your system in the month, or we charge you extra. So of course, most people are like me, are like, dude, I upload and download like tons of content and stuff all the time. So that makes me worried, right? So here's what they do. When I talked to him, I said, I want to make sure that I get rid of that cap for my ability to upload and download, right? Like I want to get rid of that data cap. He goes, oh, yeah, that's fine. It's just an extra surcharge. Here's what's crazy. So it's $30 if you own your own modem to get rid of the data cap. It's $25 if you use their modem to get rid of the data cap. How crazy is that? They're like, oh, if you have your own equipment, we just charge you more. Totally insane. Totally crazy. It's like shady as all get out. It's very weird. Big D says my biggest bill every month is my utilities bill, which is obviously higher in winter months, but averages like $550 every 2 months. Ours is about that. Like, I think ours is about like ours is about $550 every 2 months for all the utilities here. So it's very similar. Although that's one thing that's definitely going to go down. All we have up there is electric and garbage. That's it. So we don't have like water, sewer, garbage. It's on a well. There's no gas. There's propane, but we'll see. We'll see how much the bills are, I guess. But it's kind of crazy. Alyssa says totally fine to drive an hour and a half twice a week. I don't know what does that mean? Well, we can just set up the studio in my basement and stream from here. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to set up in your basement and stream from your basement. If I was going to do that where I streamed at another location, I'd probably do it from either the co-op store, or I would just go over to Corey's house and stream from there, which may or may not be a possibility to do once in a while, but we're definitely not doing that twice a week where I show up and like make a bunch of noise and get all weird for like hours on end at Corey's house. That would be ridiculous. But we could probably do that like once a month, realistically, just as like kind of a fun thing to do. Like at this point in time, it's way crazy to drive. It would be way crazy. It would be the whole entire day to drive up, go do a live stream, and then come all the way back down from Corey's place to my place. So it's just nuts to even try and schedule that. So after we move, you know, it would probably be much easier because it's like, I don't know. I think it's like 25 minutes over to Corey's place, or 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I don't know. I haven't driven it. I haven't driven across that whole thing yet to know exactly how long it's going to be. It's not far though. I'll tell you that. So that'll be a cool button factor. Plus, I could even do that even if Olivia's home, because I can be like, "Hey, Katie," or you guys know her as Dorkula. "Hey, Dorkula, you want to watch my daughter for a little while?" And she'd be like, "Oh yeah." Like, Auntie Katie's super fun. Aubrey says, "Real Fish Talk strikes back." I mean, probably not, because we'll probably just do it on my channel. That would be the thing. Is like we just go over there, goof off for a little while, do a stream on my channel, and that's that. I think he still has my login information even. We could probably just do it from his setup, you know. Move the camera around a little bit or whatever. The last bill I paid this month was $7.19 for 2 months, though. I can't remember it being that high. Yeah, I don't we had like one really high bill like a few months ago, and it was really weird. We couldn't figure out what the hell it was all about, but I don't know if the prices went up or what. I sort of just paid it and moved on because I was just too stressed out to like yell at the utility company. You know, I just didn't have time for it. However, it would be incentive for me to go up to your place because I could then have more of an excuse to visit the co-op after. That's a good point. That is a good point. That is a good point. You could definitely have an excuse to go up to the co-op. So that does make sense. Because I know Alyssa's going up there anyhow. Plus, one of those days we can figure out to go out to Redfish, Bluefish, which I still got to go out there. I got to film some content. Go out there, film that, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, yeah. Matthew Smith says, sounds like fun having actual in real life fish nerd friends. Is that fairly normal for you guys over there? Matt, I don't know where you're at. I don't know where you're at, but in the States, not really. I wouldn't say it's like that common. I think when we were doing like the demographic thing of like demographic research is like, I think fish people in the United States, like if you want to call them fish enthusiasts or fish hobbyists or something like that, there's somewhere in the range of like 3 million or something like that. So it's sort of 1 out of every 100-ish people are into fish tanks or whatever, but there's like 350 million people in the U.S., so like it's not very difficult to find some other dingleberries. But what I would encourage everybody to do is to start up a fish club type situation where wherever you are. It's actually it's pretty easy now. You know, you could probably just start like a local Facebook group, because they have like that Facebook neighborhoods thing or whatever now for the homeowners association to basically like bitch at each other on Facebook. Hold on a second. I'm trying to started thinking about something. I gotta look this up. Oh my god, I have to. Oh man, I gotta be a member on that. It's so weird. Like, you have to be a member on every on every website now, which is why I posted that in the chat. Hey, become a member today because I'm just a poor guy. Whatever. We're supposed to have like lots of members because I literally just want membership money to be able to do fish tank projects. That's all I really want to do. That's all I really want to do is just build a shop, work on fish tank projects, and make YouTube videos about it. And I am finding it extraordinarily difficult to try to live off $500 a month. It's pretty much impossible. So I have to go to work, and then I got a kid, and then I got a blah blah blah, and I got a million things to do all the time, and don't have time to work on YouTube content. So I realistically, it's a call to action, you guys. If I want to free up work time, we need enough member support and stuff to do that, to free up time during the week. Today was email central, dude. I had like a million emails to reply to, and I think I got to all of them. I got to most of them. Hold on, let's get out of here. Let's see. Honestly, I have a very low online presence. I teach, so just steer clear. So for my hobby, it's mostly just me. Sounds so sad when I put it that way. So, Matthew, here's like a good example. Like what? Not to be like constantly talking about becoming a YouTube member or whatever, but so our YouTube membership or patronage on Patreon will send you to our Discord. Like I don't know how to describe. It's like IRC chat. How to explain Discord? Like how do Discord is a free voice, video, and text chat app that's used by tens of millions of people ages 13 and up to talk and hang out with their communities and friends. Actually, that's a pretty good way to put it. People use Discord daily to talk about many things, ranging from art projects and family trips to homework and mental health support. It's a separate app. It's not Facebook. It's not whatever. It's not Tracked. That's where our fish community is at. And it's reserved for members and patrons because it's sort of the paywall keeps out the crazy people that want to just yell and scream and fight all the time. It's basically what it boils down to. One of the reasons why Twitter is so toxic, there's no point of entry, right? Like you don't need a golden ticket to get onto Twitter. You just need to make up a free email address. Boom, you're on Twitter screeching at somebody like a banshee. There's no entry barrier, right? So we utilize Patreon and YouTube membership as your token so that you can come on there and be a part of the community where you could post pictures of your stuff. We could talk about if you have problems, if you have good things going on, you could talk about that too. That's how people do the phone calls. Like when people call in. As a matter of fact, let me bust this out. Let me see if somebody wants to call in today. I'm in the green room, folks, if anybody wants to call in today. But that's how people call in. We can video chat on there. When we play on the Minecraft server, for instance, like when we're on the Minecraft server, we can open up the voice chat, and it's like a phone call that everybody can enter or leave or do whatever. And we can all just be talking about whatever's going on. So it's that's why I'm like, I understand you might not have a community where you're at, but the Discord would be a good spot where you could probably talk about, hey, I'm looking for some people in the UK. We have some people from the UK in the Discord. Maybe you could start collaborating or find some places that you could go or whatever. Yeah. Matt says, that sounds interesting. I've never done the members thing on YouTube. I get the impression it's more America-centric. So as far as like most online tech and stuff, it is America-centric generally, because that's where the advertising money is, right? Uh, why is YouTube America-centric? It's where the advertising money is, generally speaking. But Europe is right behind it. Yeah, but we've got Swedes in there, we've got Norwegian people in there, we've got Australian people in there, we've got some Brits, we've got some, dude, I don't even know. I'm like trying to go off the top of my head. We have people from all around the world in the Discord, so it's all good. You could join up, or you could not, but it's a way to get kind of closer to what you're doing. Joe M has showed up. What's going on, Joe M? It's an inch of coarse and then some fine with crushed coral underneath. Anyhow, thank you for confirming my thoughts. What's Joe talking about? Let's see. Any advice to change an existing scape from gravel to aquasoil to up the plant game without crashing my dang tank? 125 gallon with a 40 gallon sump and 2 inch of coarse gravel. Yeah, this is super easy. So if you go onto Amazon, I think it's in my Amazon store. Where are those? Where's my Amazon store? I should probably know where my Amazon store is. Where's my store? They always moving links around here all the time. All right, screw it. Let's go aquarium. I'll be able to find it. Zipper media bags. There we go. So these suckers right here. Where's the cheap ones? Where's the dirty cheap? Ooh, these are good ones right here. 1 day shipping. Let's check. Is it the correct zipper? We have to look at it and see if it's the right zipper. No, that's the wrong zipper. We don't want those ones. Oh, here we go. Is that the right zipper? Yes. You're all right. We've got the correct zipper on this one. Just so you know, the Federal Trade Commission says that I have to tell you that any links that I put in the chat, we are an Amazon affiliate. So we'll add a commission to us, but not to you. It'll send a commission to me, but not you. It's the advertising fee. We essentially get the advertising fee. So whatever the percentage is, 2% or something, we will get like 2%. You know what I mean? So you could buy stuff from Amazon through our links, and then the next thing you know, I'll get a commission, which is all taxed and everything. To anybody that's wondering, I have to fill out all those forms and file all that stuff and blah, blah, blah. So, Joe, the first thing that you want to do, if you want to switch to aquasoil, is you do want to scoop all that gravel into those mesh bags. Take that, stick it in your sump. A lot of your biological nonsense is going to be in that gravel. You can take that gravel, put it in your sump. It's going to carry a lot of your biomedia, a lot of your biological. I keep saying biological like an idiot. All of the all of the microorganisms and everything with your nitrogen cycle is going to be existing on that gravel, essentially. You can put it all in there, put it in your sump, leave it down there, drain the whole tank, clean the whole tank out, because you have that reserve water down there with all that gravel, with all of those microorganisms and everything that you need down there to continue your cycle. So that when you rescape the whole tank and you fill it back up and you turn the sump back on, yes, you are going to get you're going to get some funky readings for a little while, but it's not going to crash the whole system. You're not going to cycle the whole system. It's going to go pretty quickly, and it's not going to be that big of an ordeal as far as the health of your tank goes. So I mean that's going to be the reality for you, and would be probably the best way to go. It's like a $10 investment for some of those bags. You throw them down there, and it's going to keep your cycle going, and everything's going to be fine. Rob Patterson says, "Can you put sand in that bag?" No, it would go right through the holes. The holes are too coarse for that. But if you want to put sand in there, you go and get some pantyhose. put the sand in the pantyhose, tie off the top, then you could put that pantyhose bag into that mesh bag. The pantyhose won't last forever though, so don't think that that's a permanent solution for keeping your sand in a bag if that's a thing that you like to do. If that's a thing that you're into, if that's something that you feel like you gotta certainly get going in your life, if that's a thing that you really are like, boy howdy, I gotta get sand in a bag, that's a way to do it. Then you could also, as you said, the mesh bag height trick. Yep, you could take that rock, all that gravel you got, you could put it in the mesh bags. What I would do if I was going to do that for the height, to build height in that manner, is I would take all that gravel, I would take some aquarium water, fill it up into a bucket, and then I would take the gravel, put it into the bag, and then shake the bag out in that bucket to get a lot of the silt and crap that's probably built up in there, and then put it back in to stack them up and build height. That's what I would do. That's the route that I would go. But, to each their own. You could go one way or the other. I think that if you have gravel, it's probably the best way to go ahead and, build some height if that's where you're going to go. You already bought it. You already own it. So you might as well go for it. Rob Patterson says, I'm changing from white sand to Eco Complete this weekend, so the bag would be sweet. Yeah, pantyhose for sand is going to be the best available thing for you to get. Yeah. Matt Smith says, I feel like we're disproportionately represented in here now. Taking over. That's right. Hey, I like British people, generally, right? Generally, I like most people. I don't like really offensive anybody. It's just too much. I'm just like, I'm tired of fighting this battle with people all the time, They let you out of the expansion? Never. I'm in there right now. I'm in the expansion right now. Actually, this week, we had a lot of interesting things happen as far as maintenance goes around the store. We had some weird leaks that happened. We had an electrical outlet that just exploded. Not in the store, in one of the other units, which was weird. So we had to fix a bunch of stuff. We got a laundromat thing going on. We got a whole bunch of crap going on. It's all sorts of crazy. We're redoing the quarantine room. So yesterday, somebody was there. He was like very enthusiastic about how the quarantine room looked good. And I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I'm at work right now. I don't know what's going on. Enthusiastic customer guy. And I think he felt like he was put off by me a little bit. But I was just like, I don't know. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just busy. I don't, So the quarantine, we did a bunch of paint. We patched a bunch of holes. What else did we do? What else did we do in the store? Oh, yeah. We revamped the brine shrimp hatchery, which, dude, I am so excited to build my own brine shrimp hatchery at the new house. I keep putting it off here because I knew we were moving, and it just seemed like, oh, am I going to build all this crap and then have to move it? So I literally was just like, I probably don't want to do that. I probably don't want to build all this crap and then end up moving it. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm just going to not do that. I'm just going to not build all that crap and do that. So I was excited for it. So I can't wait until we get the move on. Till we get the move on, and then we'll be able to do that. What window did I just close? Oh, I closed the Discord. Nobody's calling in today. I don't even know if anybody knows that they could call in today. Does anybody know? Who's calling in? Let me go to the live stream tab. Boom. We'll go right here. We'll go like this. I got to scroll down to the bottom. Yo! Call lines are open. There. I posted it. Memes and live streams and news and politics. Oh yeah, people are going crazy today on the old politics line. People are going bonkers. Cornwall, Wales, freshwater ichthyology. Oh, what's up, freshwater ichthyology's here. You know how long it took me to figure out the ichthyologist moniker? You know? I swear, I think Corey and I spent like multiple live streams trying to figure out what you call a freshwater biologist, right? Because you're not a marine biologist, right? Because ichthyologist, right? Isn't that right? Ichthyology. Definition. Here we go. Definition. Why wouldn't we just get... Okay, here we go. We have to open the website. A branch of zoology that deals with fishes. Okay, well, that's just not even as... Hold on, am I saying it right?
Ichthyological.
Yeah, I'm saying it right.
Ichthyologically. Ichthyologist.
Ichthyologist. I'm saying it right.
Ichthyologist.
So. This guy. What a whiz kid. Oh, so you're just doing just the fish. Because I was trying to think what the freshwater... we're trying to figure out what the freshwater biologist is, and I thought it was ichthyologist. But now maybe we just still never know. Maybe we just never know. I'm sorry. Maybe she'll be able to answer for us. Or they'll be able to answer for us. I don't know. I don't know people outside my field? Is that a question? You're asking me a question. Is that a question? I don't know. Is it? Oh my God, we got a member chat. Look at that. You know how cool it is? You could be cool. You could be cool and get yourself... You could get yourself member chats. You know what I'm saying? If you become a member. You could become a member and crush it. I'm waiting for some super redneck weirdo to come into the chat and be like, "Oh my God, he was talking about membership when I showed up." And I'd be like, "Dude, this show is 2 hours long." Right? If you watched a 2-hour program on TV, how many commercials would you see? How many? Right? How many commercials would you see if you watched, I don't know, Channel 5 or whatever? How many commercials are there in a half an hour? How many in a 30-minute show? I know that the 30-minute show occupies 8 minutes of advertising. A 30-minute show is anywhere from 18 to 22 minutes of show content. Oh my God, it's dropped to 18 minutes? Oh my God, it used to be 22. 22 used to be the standard for a TV program. Yeah, 6 to 7 minutes of 15, 30, and rarely 60-second commercials. Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank God for my firewall. I'm glad I accidentally clicked on that. 2018, 32% of your TV commercial. Yeah. A third of your time watching TV essentially is just commercials. Yeah. So good luck. But they'll show up to a 2-hour live stream and be like, "Why did this guy keep saying that people should become members?" It's like, I don't know when you're showing up. Did you show up at the start? Maybe show up at the start. It's also included in limnology, aquatic biologist, or freshwater biologist. Do they actually say freshwater biologist? Is that true? I mean, I know that like you put those words together and you're really going to end up with something, right? You're going to end up with like English words, right? I guess maybe aquatic biology? Yeah, maybe that's right. Okay, aquatic biologist. Okay, so instead of saying marine biologist, you'd say aquatic biologist. Okay. Word. Aquatic biologist, correct. Nice. So freshwater biologist led us to the aquatic biologist, which environmentalscience.org is pretty respectable, so I think that they're probably legit. I mean, we could go down here into find in the bio and find out who's, oh my God, what kind of billionaires trying to feed us their message. Oh my God. Anyhow. Okay. Where did my stream window go? There we go. Oh my god, we had an influx of viewers. Where are all these new viewers coming from? I don't know. Something must have ended. Somebody was saying that they were trying to figure out if they're going to watch NASCAR or this live stream. And my answer to that would be I would watch NASCAR and turn the sound off and listen to this on mute. Or listen to this on mute. Yes, of course. Matthew Smith, how does MD manage his water so well? Claims not to change water, soft water, not a lot of mention of pH. I have no idea, but that guy is funded by somebody. I don't know. He sets up 1 million tanks a week. He apparently works out all the time. He doesn't seem to have a job, so I don't know. My guess is like he's like kind of wealthy or funded by something, and he generally probably like has help. But the reality is like if you're making how many videos does that guy actually make? MD Fish Tanks, because I know that like there was some kind of controversy or whatever, because he was straight up copying, what's his name? He was copying somebody. What's the Flower Horn? He was legitimately just copying Foo the Flower Horn, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I've talked with MD a couple of times, like through chat, so I don't really know the dude at all. I don't know Foo either. I've never met Foo the Flower Horn either. Let's go to Social Blade's probably the easiest way to do it. Social Blade. Social Blade's probably the easiest way to figure this out. Let's see. He's uploading. He uploads a lot. Yeah, and he's got like 500. He's got like 500,000 subscribers. But like when he started out, he was really setting up a lot of stuff, and then I guess he was like copying Foo the Flower Horn, which I don't know. I'm not. I don't really care, like personally. I mean, like who cares? I don't know. You'd be like, you're copying my content, and you'd be like, it's about fish tanks. How much variety of content is really there? But I guess he was copying like video titles and stuff like that, like explicitly, which I guess is a bad thing or whatever. But you know, if you are trying to get exposure and get out there, then like that's how it goes. Uploaded 500 or more videos to YouTube. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he seems like a nice guy. His content is just kind of not that engaging to me, so I don't really watch his videos because most of his videos all seem exactly the same. Like, which is fine. I mean, like as far as like producing YouTube videos, if you have like a set thing that you're doing, like people will come to expect what it is that you're making. And you could just keep making that over and over again, I guess, forever. I kind of consider myself to be more of a sort of creative person. And to be honest with you, like I probably could have gone after the commercial market of just making stuff over and over again and like to continue to try and do the commercial side of things. I certainly could have made myself more presentable in regards to that, but I don't necessarily put myself into that. Like if I'm making money, that's my success. And a good example of that is that I had a conversation earlier this week, because I was helping do some research on sort of making fun of Gary V. Gary Vaynerchuk is like a toxic grifter as far as I'm concerned. If you've gotten some help from listening to him, I guess that's good. But if you really look at a lot of his content as a whole, you realize that he really is just like in it for this weird grift, and it's very wild. But the idea is that hustle grind. you got to be in this hustle grind forever. And for me, it was like I wanted to do a plant encyclopedia videos, which I probably am going to go back and start redoing those once we get done with this big move here. But I got to like 50 of those. I got to like 50 of those videos, and I felt like, oh, okay. I think anybody getting into the plant hobby, like this is enough of these videos for them to like kind of, they could watch a bunch of them and be like, okay, I got some ideas here. And they could, go off and start kind of do their own thing. And so I sort of stopped making them because I was trying to not collect as many plants, to be personally be taking care of so many plants. Like it takes up time. It really does. So yeah. Why is he toxic? Gary Vee is very, very toxic, to the point where, sort of one of the best clips, like he actually had somebody call in who's a fan of his on his podcast. And like a good example would be, she was in her 20s. She wanted to become a millionaire. And he was talking with her, and they're going round and round. And Gary basically asked, had she taken a weekend off, right? And she was like, yeah, I took a weekend off. And he's like, oh, well, I already have you beat. And she's like, what? And he's like, I didn't take any time off in my 20s. And if you took a weekend off, I got you beat. And it was like, so between the age of 20 and 30, you worked every waking hour, every waking minute, every single day for 10 years, and it's just like this, it's this complete unrealistic expectation of like how people should be living their lives. And it's also fake. It's also fake in the fact, that, he acts like he's a self-made millionaire or whatever. It's like his dad gave him $1 million company that was doing like $4 million a year when he was like 21 or something, right? So it's not self-made. He just inherited it. And has he done well with it? Yeah. He's done pretty well. But it's just terrible advice. It really is. It's just not good. How do I feel about the king of DIY? I think, I think it kind of goes without saying, but yeah. I certainly don't watch his content. I enjoy those videos a lot, but honestly, I liked your off-the-cuff creative videos more. I've definitely been working on my content. I've definitely been working on my content with some other channels, some other projects that I've been doing. I've been like making videos and deleting them, which is weird, but it's really kind of part of the process of like, I sort of applied my painting. I really started to apply my painting technique to my video production, in the fact that like, whenever I would make a painting, I would always like make a bunch of them. Like, you practice to paint a fish. Let's just take this shrimp back here. Let's take this shrimp painting back here. This actually is a screw up. Like, this painting of this shrimp is actually like a reject. Like I kept it, I kept it in just like a pile because I gave all the other ones away. I think I gave all of them away. But I may or may not have like one more of these or whatever. But like I didn't give this one away because it was a reject. Like this was a rejected one that just I didn't think was good enough. Which means it's a perfect example of like I'll just keep it for myself because who cares? Like I can keep garbage if I want, right? I'm allowed to. Don't tell Vicky I said that. That will drive her nuts. She could easily be that lady who gets rid of people's junk. Easily. She could easily do that. Why am I all shiny today? I don't understand what's going on. Like, I look over in my monitor over here, and I'm all super shiny McShinerton. I don't know what's going on. Sorry. I'm going to point it out because it's weird. Maybe I'm, like, sweaty or something. Maybe I drank too much coffee. Is that why? Maybe I'm just all greasy. I don't know what my deal is. I took a shower, like, not that long ago, so maybe that's why. Anyhow, moving on. I applied my video creating, or no, I applied my painting work to my video creation, which was like, I have really got to get into the groove of making these videos and then just not having the expectation of them being seen by the public, right? It's very, and it's weird, you know, like it's weird to think about doing YouTube in that way. Because like when I started doing YouTube, like I'm in my 40s, right? I'm in my 40s. When I was like 15, 16 to like probably 21 was the time that camcorders became like realistically accessible to people. And that's like really when sort of the jackass stuff was going on. People were making their own skateboarding videos, highlight videos, that kind of stuff. And I was with a bunch of guys and we would do stuff like that. Like we would make goofy videos and we would make stuff like that. And, you know, we were always into doing things on our own, making our own stuff, doing our own crappy garage bands and being edgy and being crazy and just being wild people. Like that's how I grew up. I was just crazy and I was always doing crazy stuff. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being young and being goofy and jumping off a cliff and doing stuff and being, you know, like that's all good. You don't want to put yourself in extremely dangerous situations or anything like that, but that's kind of where I started out. And the reality was we never had like an applied process to what it was that we were making. Like nobody that I know went, let me reframe that. I know some people that went to film school, but once they went to film school, we didn't know them afterwards. So hopefully that makes sense. Though we didn't have like a film school person that was working with us. We didn't have like a real way to apply that knowledge to what we were doing. We were just making stupid videos that were ridiculous and bad. And then by the time that like YouTube came around, like I want to say probably 2014-ish. No, that's not right. Not 2014. 2004. Jeez, sorry. 2004, 2005, 2006, 7, 8, in that range, things were starting to be uploaded to the internet, right? People were able to watch stuff. It wasn't monetized. Like, my YouTube channel got monetized because I started it so early. Back then, you just got offered monetization when you had been on YouTube and you, like, had stuff on there. Right, that was it. They would randomly just send you an email that was like, "Do you want to get monetized?" And it was like, "All right, I guess," you know. And unless you had something that went totally crazy and got 100 million views, it just really didn't mean anything. But then I started to go like, well, maybe I should make some videos. But I was such like a haggard drunk. And I was on so many drugs and everything that like most of my content from back then is just so cringe. It's just the cringest nonsense that you've ever seen. There's really no rhyme or reason what's going on. I'm like half drunk making these videos or just fully hammered out of my mind. And there just really is not a whole lot of rhyme or reason to that stuff. Let me see if I can go Where's let me just open a window here. Over here. We'll go over here. We'll open up a window. We'll go to my channel. And we'll see what we got going on. Oh my god, I'm live right now. I'm streaming? Oh. Oh. Okay. I guess we're streaming right now. Weird. Thought I was just talking to myself. Bizarre. How do I go to my channel? Where is that? Oh, your videos right here. Okay. It's around here somewhere. You figure you could go there. Let's go videos. And let's invert the date. Let's see if there's a video in here. Let's see. A lot of these are privated. Ooh. Somebody privated all of his old content. It's me. I just got rid of it. Let's see what we got here. I want to see this video. There we go. Let me add it into you guys.
Hey guys,
Well, I think you have
and Habib, shooting a sub here. How to substrate a planted tank.
It's probably too loud.
People ask me all the time how to
Source.
substrate a planted tank. So I let this one dry out. It's just one of my old planted tanks. Yeah, and there's a little bit of algae on the glass. You
There
can
it
just
is.
scratch that
That's
off.
what we
It's
want.
not a big deal. A little bit of, what is that?
Oh my god,
this?
you have to resize
Does this
it that
camera
way?
work? Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
So just to show you, this is how I plant my planted tanks.
So here's a really old video that I made.
Layers throughout.
Right.
You know, this is the back side of the tank. So yeah, there's a little bit of algae over there. Oh, look at that, sweet bucket. But anyhow, as you can see here, this
is actually like a fairly-
it's really cheap. It's sort of like as far as a planted tank goes, they have lots of minerals in them, and they work really.
This is me
Roots
actually
don't
being
really
pretty quiet.
grow very well. My
Unbelievable.
planted tanks.
But here we
Hold
go.
on a
Oh,
second.
all right, yeah, now we're seeing just how much
So-
of a dump this place is.
At this point in my planted tanks,
I think it's like really late or something,
no,
or
I
early in
mean-
the morning. Who knows?
you know, wood and
The
the
whole
wood
reason I wanted to
aesthetic
like
that you're using, that
bring up something like
you know
this.
pops out of your tank.
There's like a parking sign
That's really important for
on my
me.
wall. Yeah, it's
You know,
pretty good.
it's just
Pretty
that
good.
building
Living the-
your substrate is very
living the dream.
important.
Living the dream, doing all that kind of crap, right? And so the thing is that I don't know that I really like took it on as like a business project. First off, I certainly didn't take it on as a business project. It was not something that I was really going to be encapsulated by. Is going like whether or not I was going to do YouTube as a business. I definitely wasn't doing it then. And I was basically just doing YouTube because I was doing YouTube. At a certain point in time, you start to realize like, oh, I'm making a couple dollars off of doing this. So you start to kind of get a little more introspective, I guess, about what it is that you're doing. Is the thing that you're doing something you want to invest more time into, more energy into, more money into? There's a lot of things that go into that. And so I was definitely working on some of that, right? And it was definitely an element of going like, well, I don't know. I seem to have a lot of traction with the fish tank community, trying to help people out, trying to be a resource to people, but also struggling with drug addiction and alcoholism, and just being a degenerate generally. Now, I will say, in defense of myself, I have always pretty much followed what I would kind of consider to be the moral code that I've always followed. So there were definitely a lot of limits to the chaos that was going on in my life, because there were a lot of lines that I wouldn't cross. I just wouldn't do it then, and I wouldn't do it now. And you know, one of the things is that you kind of get to a point where you kind of got to shit or get off the pot, right? And that happened to me about 8 years ago now. 8 years minus a month. So let me pull up my calculator. 94 months ago, 2,887 days ago, I came to a head, and I said, I really got to make a change in my life. I really got to make a change. Something's got to happen here. And to be honest with you guys, I was either going to end it and finish what I was doing, or I was going to make a change. I don't know how to phrase that without getting flagged on YouTube. But it didn't seem like an option to just stay doing what I was doing. And I said, you know what? All of the stuff that I'm doing right now is not important. And I was definitely going to have to make some kind of dramatic change. And we got to a point where I decided to call a buddy of mine and just talk to him about how I was feeling, right? How I was feeling about life, how things were going, what was going on, and what was happening. And we decided to call a person that I hadn't talked to in a long time. It was somebody that I'd done a lot of crazy stuff with. I just hadn't talked to him because we just grew apart, got older, got grown apart. And he had said that he was like, I don't know if you know this, but I got sober like 6 months ago, and it's completely changed my life. Blah, blah, blah. Long conversation, yada, 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 right? And I was like, what? You know, and this is not a guy that I've ever known to have gone that route. And he really didn't make it public. And he was like, look, I'm going to drive over to your house. I'm going to bring you a book. If you just come read the book, just read it. That's all I ask. He's like, just read this. It's like 100 pages. He's like, you can read this in an hour, half an hour. You know, he knows that I was a big reader. I like reading things. I love stories. I love literature. I really do. It's not really something that I talk about too much, but when I was a kid, they thought that I would grow up to be a writer, basically. And the thing is that, like, I like writing and everything, but it's always just been so one-dimensional for me personally. Like, when I write, it always feels like really one-dimensional, and it doesn't have like a lot of body to it. But he said, read this book and just call me tomorrow. Or just call me when you're done reading it. He's like, I don't care. Just call me. You can call me in the middle of the night if you want. It doesn't matter. I'm like, okay. So I go and read this book. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, you know, there's something that stood out to me. Something really that stood out to me. And there's a line in there that said, if you could imagine stopping drinking and doing drugs for a week. And I was like, yeah, I could do that. Stop drinking, doing drugs for a month. And I was like, yeah, I could do a month. I could do a month, no problem. And it's like, if you could stop drinking for a year, how different you think your life would be, you know? And then it was like, a year? What are you, crazy? And it was quickly followed up by a text that was talking about if a year seems really untenable to you, that you might have an issue here that's more than just the occasional bender, right? And that was what really like struck home with me. That's what really struck home with that's what really struck home just on the inside, all the way down to the little tendrils of my being, was like, damn it. Like, I heard the year and just immediately like sort of recoiled in the like, a year? What are you, crazy? And the thing is that later on, I talked to an old timer, like, I don't know, 6 months later or something like that. And somebody had asked him about, like, how do you get to, I think, yeah, like 30 years sober or something like that. It was like, how do you get to 30 years sober? And he said, just today, like, that's it. He's like, I don't even care about all that other time. I'm just doing the thing today that I'm supposed to be doing. And that really, like, that thought process, like, slowly worked its way into, like, making content. And I initially got some positive response from, like, changing, getting sober and coming back to YouTube a couple years later. I think I took like a 2-year break or something like that. Maybe it was less than that. Maybe it was a year. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at the numbers. Maybe it was 10 months. I don't know how long it was, but I basically just didn't make any content for a good amount of time. And then I came back and started making content again. I got kind of a big bump from it. Like, things started happening. A couple years went by, and you get in this real grind, that weird Gary V grind set thing. And to be brutally honest with you, I see it with a lot of other creators they're constantly posting on Instagram, they're constantly posting on Facebook, they're constantly posting on YouTube, they're constantly posting on TikTok. It's just a never-ending stream of, basically like a never-ending stream of consciousness. And I'm like, why don't you just do a live stream every once in a while so you could get all this energy out and work on something that is legitimately creative. And the response I get from that is like, well, why would I do that? Because then people will probably figure out like what you're really about if you spend a couple of hours talking about what's going on, talking about what you want to talk about. And the downside is, like, if you do a live stream like this, it tanks your channel. Like, it makes your channel slowly but surely die. Which to me is a sacrifice like I'm willing to make, because I'm entertained by having like realistically some kind of relationship, right, with the online community, as opposed to having a real like one-sided relationship where I only post some edited content and that's it. And it's kind of weird to make decisions like that, where you go like, I'm just going to do what I can. And a perfect example would be the safe thing to do would have been to not celebrate Joe Biden winning election to the presidency. The safe thing to do would be to not talk about women's reproductive rights. The safe thing to do would be to not talk about all these strange laws and voters' rights being infringed upon and that kind of stuff. The safe thing to do would be to not talk about that, because a majority of the fish keeping community are, sorry, let me rephrase this. It's not a majority of the fish keeping community, but there is a large, extraordinarily vocal minority of hyper aggressive American conservatives in the fish keeping community that I mean, I think if you pretty much turn on the news, you could see probably some clips, and you probably know what I'm talking about. So the safe thing to do would be, ooh, government bad. Ooh, let's just toe the line of this weird conservative ideology, or only make edited content that toes the line of this. You just sit in the middle, and I like nobody knows any of my thoughts or any of the things that are going on or this or that and the other thing. You could make that content. That's something that you could do, and try to not offend anybody or whatever. And I have always been, like I said earlier, I've always had the ability to be vocal, the ability to be kind of like wild and out, and have very strong morals. Like I said, even in the realm of addiction and alcoholism and all that kind of stuff, I still had a moral framework that I was operating from that wouldn't bend, right? If somebody needed help, I would help them. If somebody was being attacked, I would help them. If somebody was being misaligned or just messed with, like, I would do what I could to stand up for them, because that's just who I am. And I don't think that it's beneficial for my life to attempt to act like I'm somebody else, because I don't want to end up in the situation that somebody like, I don't know, just name a famous person or whatever, right? Like, you definitely don't want to end up like a Tom Cruise Scientologist, weird nonsense. Like, he just can't even talk about what he's really about. Like, I guess Tom Cruise isn't a great example, but I don't want to end up like a public figure that is so shrouded in this weird mystery, because the only thing that you want to do is act like this person that you aren't. I never really wanted to represent myself in a way that people had no idea what my character was. And to try and be like, oh, don't worry, I'm this other guy. Like, I don't have any problem. It's not, I always thought that it's better for me to help a small community than take advantage of a large community. Does that make sense? Yeah. And that's kind of my thing, is like, I would rather be hated for having strong morals and strong scruples than being liked and taking advantage of people. That's what I care about to my core, right? I don't think that, for instance, I don't think it's beneficial. I don't think it's beneficial for society for people to be acting like something else, you know? Matt Romero says, like Stephen Colbert doing the Colbert Report. It's a good example, although that's satirical. I mean, I think people understand that that was comedy, and that he literally was doing it was comedy. I mean, it was like on Comedy Central, like how I don't think there was that many people that were that actively confused that it was satirical, right? Kylan Landry says, as a non-binary person here, your channel is refreshing. Thank you. Non-binary people are always welcome. Everybody's welcome. Like, there's a limit to my beliefs system, with certain aspects, like the new like xenogender, like the new neo pronouns are just far too confusing. I do my best to adhere to those things, when I know that I need to. But if you're they them, makes sense to me. If you're he she, makes sense to me. If you're what if you've decided to make up an alien pronoun or whatever, it's just very difficult for people to like really comprehend like what is happening. And for people to be angry that other people don't understand like where the neopronouns are coming from, that's where I have an issue. Is like, I understand you might identify as there's a Twitch streamer that goes by the doe gender or whatever. Like, I mean, I get it. You've got you got a thing that you got going on, like that's totally cool, and I think most people will try to respect that. But there's a point where just humans don't even know what's going on, and you accidentally are being the villain when no one's trying to be the villain. That's where things get a little harebrained. But as far as like defending the rights of like the gay community, for instance, it's like there's a lot that needs to happen on that front. And that's just a fact. Like, you have a minority that's being discriminated against for such a long time that now we're swinging back the other direction. You just look at what's going on in Florida right now. They're passing all these weird laws. But we all have to live within the real world. And if we're talking about defending gay people, I would much rather defend the gay community than the people that are attacking them. Yeah. Personally, I think neopronouns have moved too fast. No one understands, so it just creates resentment when emotions flare. Yeah, I think that's the reality. Like, I have friends that are non-binary and whatnot, and I think it's pretty easy for people to be confused by new concepts because they're new, and it's a new concept that most people can't really wrap their minds around. And just because they haven't been able to wrap their minds around something yet, there's no reason to be angry at somebody. The alien thing is like putting your religion as Jedi, which I would classify myself as a gray Jedi if I was in the Jedi Order. That's where I would put myself. It looks more like comedy or psychosis. Yeah, I mean, I could understand the viewpoint of like the confused person, like trying to figure out exactly what's going on. Which that's always kind of been my point, is that like, if you don't seek to understand, like, where are you at? And that's sort of like one of the mantras that goes around in my head, is that like, is seek to understand, not to be understood. And I'm not sure who came up with that, but it's like an old adage. Seek to understand before being understood. Who was that? Oh, it's from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I didn't realize it was from this book. Dr. Stephen R. Covey. I don't know who this is, but I probably read this book at some point. If I were to summarize in one, this is the quotation here. If I were to summarize in one sentence, the single most important principle I have learned in the field of interpersonal relationships would be this: seek first to understand, then to be understood. This is, and still to this day, like, I struggle with this constantly, because it's difficult to understand like where someone else is coming from, where their motivations, like where they're coming from. And, I definitely don't want to be one of those people that's like lacking in understanding when it comes to anything. I am constantly trying to increase my knowledge of the world. I'm trying to increase my knowledge of form and function and things that are happening around me. I want to know how they work, how they're supposed to work, and continue to make them work better so that things can be more inclusive and better for everybody around. Freshwater Ichthyology says, just Bob, from my understanding, some people use Jedi more as a political statement. The movie uses influences from real religions, faiths, and pathways like Shintoism. Yeah, I mean, the thing that I like about Star Wars is that it's space, it's aliens, it's laser swords, you know, like all that stuff for sure. But it's just 100% just old, regurgitated, for lack of a better term, sort of the hero story. That's basically all that it is. Like, he starts out as a bumbling idiot, and it's a failure, and he loses his people to look up to, and blah blah blah. And then he goes on this journey, and then there's growth. There's a period of growth, and then eventually he overcomes. You know, it's David versus Goliath. You know, realistically. When it comes to aquascaping, like, I started aquascaping in probably, like, I want to say like 2004, as maybe 2005, something like that. Because when I was a kid, I kept fish tanks, like, as a kid. When I was in high school, like, one of my buddies worked at, like, a really awesome fish store that got bulldozed for a mall later on. But we always had fish tanks and cool pets, and, like, I had a chameleon for a while, and you know, I've owned a bunch of cool animals, and I really liked taking care of animals, and you know, the animal husbandry is just rad to me. I think it's really great. And, you know, as you know, when you're in the United States, it's like, you know, you move out, and I moved out when I was like 17 or whatever, and it's kind of one of those things that you don't have a lot of money. You don't have, like, availability to do hobbies and stuff like that. So I just wasn't doing any of that. And I think, so it might have been like 2005, 2004. I think I was like 24 or something like that. It was when I moved to Fremont. When did I move to Fremont? That would really be informative as to that exact time frame. But I moved to Fremont, Washington. That was outside of Seattle, and you could see Seattle from my apartment. Like, you see the Space Needle. And I moved to this crappy apartment. I was working all these crappy jobs. I was working. I've spent my whole entire life, I've been working, and I didn't have something in my life that wasn't work, drugs and alcohol, and dating, I guess would be the nice way to put it. My life revolved around that. That was it. Morning to night, overnight, morning, overnight, morning, overnight. Just a never-ending cycle of that nonsense. And I didn't really recognize that I was looking for something else to do. But like I said, a tattooing buddy of mine brought home a book that he got as a tip. Maybe it was in 2004. Yeah, I don't know, whatever. But he got a Takashi Amano book as a tip from one of his customers that he had tattooed. Or maybe he traded for it. I don't know what he did. Tattooer guys are crazy. But he brought that home, and we were looking at it, and he was like, dude, I've been looking up on the internet these crazy little fish tanks that basically people in Asia are making, you know? And they had plants growing in them. They had all this stuff going on. And so we started doing these little fish tanks, and then just got kind of obsessed with it. And it was because I realized, like, looking back on it, is that, like, you could have a semblance of some sort of interaction with nature while living in the big city, basically. Um, and and also, like, living a lifestyle that incurred me, like, always being at work 7 days a week. Um, and you know, not really, like having much else to do. You're certainly not like going out on hikes or doing anything like that. You're legit just, you're home, you're at the bar, you're at work, you're at home, you're at the bar, you're at work. It's, and you really don't spend a lot of time at home, but it definitely gave me something to do at home that wasn't just um like getting drunk basically and like hanging out with idiots. It was something to kind of like actively have as a hobby, something to do that didn't have anything to do with work or drugs or partying or any of that kind of stuff. And it it became like a big interest of mine. And then it became an obsession, basically, because it was like, I got to figure out how to do this. I got to figure out how to get really good at this. I got to figure out how to kind of be the best at it. That's sort of how I, like, pursue most of the things that I do. There's obviously some ancillary things that I'm just not that great at, but and I'm like, oh, it's fine. I can just suck at that. It's okay. And so I've been working on that. And it eventually turned into the YouTube thing that I was talking about. The only reason I ever started doing YouTube about fish tanks, like I said, I had my old YouTube channel, and I was always on forums, just chatting with people in the typeset in forums to try and help people out. And people kept asking me, like, well, who the F are you? Like, who cares? We don't know what you do, blah, blah, blah. So I started making YouTube videos about what it was that I was doing. I had all these fish tanks. I was constantly setting them up and breaking them down all the time. And it was just kind of the reality of my life. When it came time to get sober, I had a ton of fish tanks in my garage. I did try to open a commercial space at one point in time, which that was a complete disaster. And that's a whole story within itself. But I moved that commercial space to my house when we moved to West Seattle. I had all these fish tanks in the garage. I had gotten quite I collected like quite a bit of stuff, and when I got sober, I said, you know what? It's probably best to just step away from this and not be that involved in the fish tank community. Like I said, I was making a lot of changes, and it seemed to me to be a good idea to just get away from the aquarium hobby. Most, if not all, certainly not all, but most of the people at that point in time that I'd met on YouTube were all like pretty diabolical. I mean, realistically, just to tell you, I hadn't met Corey at that point, but I had met and interacted with a lot of different communities, and they all were pretty toxic, realistically, when you get down to it. There's a lot of weird stuff going on and all sorts of crazy drama and stuff like that. And to be realistic, like, and I think I posted a video about this, that I was selling all my tanks. I got rid of a lot of them. I sold a lot of my tanks, especially even the ones that I built and all that. And I was I think I was just going to go and do the Appalachian Trail or the Pacific Crest Trail. I think I was going to do the Pacific Crest Trail. And realistically, I ended up staying home because of that. instead of going to go do that, I stayed home because I had all these fish tanks to take care of and get rid of and blah, blah, blah. And it actually allowed me the time to continue to stay home, to continue to go to meetings, and sort of reevaluate like what I was going to do with my life. And through a lot of talks with Victoria about like what were my goals, like what was I trying to do, what was I this, what was I that. I ended up kind of like going back into doing fish tanks. Like we sold off all the kind of crappy tanks and all that kind of stuff, and ended up moving to Tacoma, which we did that like 5 years ago, and building tanks and doing all this kind of stuff. And I got to admit, I poured a lot of time into making aquariums and YouTube content and all that kind of stuff. And things, my energy was kind of waning around 2020, the beginning of 2020. I had a kid. If you guys don't know, Olivia is my daughter, and I think she's great. Like she's just the greatest little person. And then the pandemic came, and the channel lost a lot of support, mainly for pandemic reasons, mainly for people being irate about me doing things like supporting Joe Biden, right? Which you're like, there's two candidates, and I support the other one, so you mad. Okay. Got it. It's not like I was voting for Mussolini or something, right? And so kind of one of those weird situations where we lost a lot of support and that kind of stuff, and I decided to like sort of redesign how I was engaging with YouTube and the online community, and how I was going to go about continuing to do that. And it's definitely brought me down a path that I think is far more creative and whatnot. And also like Aquascaping has literally granted a lot of opportunities for me. There obviously have been a lot of painful moments, but Aquascaping didn't really have anything to do with it, a lot of that. The aquariums themselves certainly didn't have anything to do with it. And it really is one of those things where having something to actively work on, like aquascaping, has given me sort of a goal and a directive, and it's definitely given me a lot of opportunities. Like I've gone to Europe, went to Peru this last year. Like it's super easy to forget, like as time goes by, where you go like, wait a minute, we were in Peru like, I don't know, 8 months ago or something. Right? And it's all because like I started making aquariums with some plants in them, like just because of that. And I have a lot of gratitude towards 99% of all of the community that I engage with, especially YouTube and all that. And it's been a pretty big part of my life for a little while now, and I hope to continue to grow. I hope to continue to have the time and availability to continue to work on all these projects. And yeah, for me, I've always had the obsession with water and all things aquatic, wild swimming, fish keeping, catching, and observing all my life, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I always had fish and stuff like that. Like I said, But in the U.S., you don't necessarily just have you don't just have like access, right, to a lot of things unless you have money. That's basically what it boils down to. And it's always kind of rough when you have to realize that like you don't have the ability to make like a big giant wild leap into stuff. And it is a little bit like humbling at times when you're in the US and you realize like, and this happened to me probably I would say around probably like 2013, 2012. That definitely happened right around that time where I was like, I do not want to do the line of work that I'm doing anymore. And you realize like, you're not going to have any health insurance. You're not going to have any kind of anything. You're not going to have any kind of safety net at all. And the reality of like, you could trip and fall and get a, $16,000 bill because you hurt your knee, and have a real problem with being able to recover from something like that. So, I don't know. I'm feeling pretty introspective and kind of weird today. And so that's why I titled the stream that, because I just kind of wanted to talk about some stuff. And we're running down to the last couple minutes here. So let me look through the chat and see if there's anything I missed. Wayne Talbot had to go to bed. Best of luck. Good night. There are aquarium YouTubers, social media people being promoted who have personally posted against women's rights and reproductive rights. For me, there's nothing I can do against. Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of people being promoted out there that have some pretty wild belief systems as far as I'm concerned. And it's always kind of difficult to have a conversation when you're sort of talking about people being promoted and they're sort of out there like posting some pretty sus stuff as far as I'd be concerned. I guess that's a good way to put it. Pretty suspicious belief systems and whatnot. I try to keep my belief system as consistent as possible. I try to learn as much as I can. A while back, somebody was asking me that they were pro-life person, and they were like, I can't understand how you're pro-choice. And it was on stream, so if somebody has the link, you could go find it, and it's a much longer version of what I'm going to talk about here, but right now. But I said, like, where does this go? Like, where, if you're a pro-life person and you don't want to get an abortion, cool. That, in my mind, should be the end of that conversation, right? Is like, you don't want to get an abortion. Okay, cool. That's good. Then do that. You've chosen your own behavior. Do your own behavior thing, right? But I go, if you're a pro-life person and you're for this like insane regulations that are going on where conservatives have decided to write legislation that is capitalizing on civil lawsuit within the United States, that they're able to write laws that are unconstitutional, and it's being decided in civil court. So basically, people that can afford to defend themselves can defend themselves, and people that can't can just be sued, right? But where does this continue? So let's say we outlaw it, then we need to have person in every single doctor's office, like overseeing every interaction that your wife has with their doctor. Like, where do we get all those people? And I sure as hell don't want some untrained buffoon in the doctor's office with my spouse and their doctor overseeing whatever kind of the doctor interaction they're having. And if we have to hire all those people, who are who if we have to hire all those people, who's paying for that? So we're going to pay that out of taxpayer money to have all these like government representatives in every single doctor's office with every woman that needs to go to the doctor's office for any reason, just in case somebody's going to possibly get access to an abortion, right? That's insane to me, first off. Second of all, if we have those representatives in those women's doctor's offices to find out if a woman is even asking, if we're even asking about, we have those people in there, right? Then what happens if a woman does ask their doctor about an abortion? Do we send them to jail? Do we arrest the woman? Do we arrest the doctor? Like, who gets arrested there? Are we going to arrest them? I guess. So then I guess we're going to put all the women in jail, or are we going to put all the doctors in jail? Like, who's going to jail? And by the way, why are they going to jail? And who's paying for the jail? So I guess like any woman that could potentially ask a question from a doctor about an abortion, we're just going to put them in handcuffs, put them in a car. We're going to drive them to jail, and we're going to put them in jail, I guess. But then like now we have to build all these giant jails because the women are going to go to jail. But then what happens with the women and their criminal history? Like they have like no crimes, then all of a sudden they have a crime here in 2022. You asked a doctor about an abortion. I guess you're going to go to jail now, right? What? So I guess now, like, we're just going to send, are we just sending everybody to jail now? Is that the plan? We're just going to lock everybody up into cages or something? And by the way, like, who's paying for this? I'm not paying for it. I'm not sending my tax money to put women seeking medical help into jail. Like, that's insane. That's completely insane. Who's thinking of who's is anybody even thinking about any of this stuff? Like, what's the plan? Do we have a plan? No, you're just irate. Okay, got it. And it just, the whole situation makes no sense to me. Darkolis Kovchek says, the fact that you guys are debating this in 2022 is mind-blowing to me. Darko, I don't know where you live, but I guess everything's just settled where you live. Because I want to know where you live so I can go move there, because apparently everything is settled wherever you're living. I don't know. Russia is invading Ukraine. There's an active war going on right now. There's all sorts of humanitarian violations going on all around the world. I forget who it was earlier said that that people with kind of wild ideation are being promoted out there on YouTube and stuff like that. And I would always just kind of point at Tucker Carlson has the highest ratings in like nighttime, like evening TV or whatever it is, whatever category that is. He has like 3 million people watch his show every night, and that guy is literally every night giving out white supremacist talking points. So my big issue is that there's an audience for that stuff. I'm not so I'm not so upset that there is an individual that wants to promote their kind of like wacky ideology or their ideas or whatever that exists, and that sucks. My point is that it's very weird that there's such a big audience, and that's kind of like one of the big problems of where we're at right now with this idea that it's all just one side of the same coin, and we're all divided and this and that. And the unfortunate thing is, if you are taking in the input from people like Tucker Carlson, you start to think that like this is how people talk, this is how we exist, this is how we're supposed to be. These on the TV, right? And when you hear the same messaging like over and over and over again, eventually people start to think like, oh, that's normal. I just hear that all the time, you know? And if the thing that you hear all the time is beneficial, certainly helpful. If the thing you hear all the time is somebody lying to you, then it's not really all that beneficial. Rosie with a $5 super chat says, do you have a video on self-help for drugs and alcohol? Something I can refer to my brother to alcohol mainly? I don't. I really don't. I have some videos where I talk about my own experience, especially live streams like this. I wonder, let me see if I can't try to find something more than, let's see, my videos. Like I found this a minute ago, so I can find it again. I got some of my brain parts is left. Search across your channel. Sober. There's like a... Let me see. Oh, here it is, from 2016. Where's the share link on here? Oh, here's the video link. I gotta copy it. Copy. Now, here's the weird thing. Like, I don't even know if this video is any good. Changes that my body has gone through. Doing things on. That's the difference between now laughing. If you're moving, who's... All right. This might be a worthwhile video. I don't know. Maybe yeah, maybe no. I would have to review this. It's from a very long time ago. So 2016. So we're talking about a video from like 6 years ago. It's clear that I'm definitely working on getting better at video here. I did 2 camera angles. But man, the audio mix is not good. That's realistically the downside to it. The unfortunate thing is that I never did die. As far as,
a little bit loud, huh?
And I could say that never did. But there's multiple angles here. It's me kind of talking about getting sober. I think that's what this video is about. Like I said, I'd have to review it. Did it do very well? I don't think that this video did very well. How many views did this video get? I don't even know. Where's the analytics? Oh, here it is. Let's see. Discard changes. I don't know if I accidentally just made some changes to something. It's gotten 1 view on March 26th. So let's see. Views? No. Where's the... Oh, here it is. Here's the button up here. They're moving these buttons around all the time. Since upload, lifetime of this video, it's gotten 819 views. Look at that. I got 3 subscribers. I made $2. So whatever this video is about, or anything like that, I don't even know if it but like it's a perfect example of like I don't know how long I worked on this
Physically,
video.
I'm a much healthier person. I go to the dentist now. Has
I'm talking about dentists
metamorphosized.
and shit. I don't even know. I don't even know if I wrote a script for this, but you know, it's a 20-minute long video that it's clear like I did some editing to. This is my old fish room in West Seattle, so it's super crazy to think like I've made $2 off this video and it got 819 views. But it's a perfect example of like you make a video, you do all this work, and it gets 800 views in 6 years or something, and you know that just like Rosie super chatted $5 earlier, and this live stream made a better income ratio than a video that I probably worked on for hours and hours and hours that day. I would assume, the assumption was that it probably wasn't one take. I mean, I had 2 cameras set up, so you'd have to at least set that up. Gabor Mate. I think I've watched some stuff with this guy. Oh yeah, this is the trauma guy. Yeah, actually, I've read some of this guy's work, and I do have to admit that which of his books did I read? Let's see what his books are. Let's see if I can rack my brain. Hold On to Your Kids. I think I read that one. And Scattered Minds. I think I read Scattered Minds. That looks familiar. Yeah, I think I read those 2 books. He's got a bunch of other books. I should probably read a couple. I should probably read a couple more of these, huh? But yeah, this is the guy who talks about that most everything that is happening with most people has to do with trauma. And I can tell you, I am of that opinion also. Most of us are reacting to the trauma that we've been through. It's just basically how it goes. I have a bunch of weird trauma that I'm not necessarily going to talk about, but just because this isn't really the place to talk about it, because most of it is pretty intense, but when I talk about certain things where I go, when I was talking about seek to understand versus trying to be understood, is that trying to understand where somebody else is coming from is probably going to be more beneficial to everybody versus just a casting judgment on other people, right? I have a lot of weird trauma that shows up in really weird ways sometimes. But getting sober, going to therapy, like working through my steps and stuff like that, really helped me identify and deal with a lot of that stuff, I do realize that like a lot of my interactions with women were influenced by somebody that was abusive to me, that typically 49% of the population wouldn't see it as abuse, because most men would not see that as somebody being abusive. But the reality is, like, when somebody is 16 years old and they're interacting with somebody in their late 30s, it's abusive. And you might not recognize it, like, from dude bro and out, right? Like, dude bro can't recognize that as abuse. Dude bro high fives each other's and chest bumps and says that everything is like, oh my god, it's blah, 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 right? And unfortunately, we have a lot of dude bro, even though dude bro's getting less in this world, right? Paul Middlemist. Drugs and alcohol are an escape from pain and trauma. I have been there, and we do what we need to do for ourselves at the time just to survive. My trauma is pretty bad as well. Abuse, mutilation, yeah. Yeah, and the thing is that like more often than not, addiction is just people coping with trauma, and they haven't really gone through trauma. It's why I tell people to. If you can go to a meeting, go. One of the reasons why I say that, and actually, there's multiple reasons why I say that. One of them is you're going to go, you're going to get an opportunity to listen to a lot of people, share some of your issue, things that are going on. You're in a group setting where people are trying to help you out. People are there that care about you. Even if they don't know you, they're going to care about you. And you have a structured setting where people can work through step by step the trauma that you're dealing with. The 12-step program isn't for everybody, but it is a structured situation where you can start to identify things that are going on and things that you could be working on. You might leave Alcoholics Anonymous and go to Smart Recovery, or like what's the other recovery? There's a bunch of them. Smart Recovery Alternatives. Yeah, 5 alternatives to 12-step meetings. There is multiple options for addiction recovery. I don't want to subscribe to your blog. God. There's Women for Sobriety is the first and only self-help program accounting for special problems women have in recovery, which if you're a woman in recovery, protect your neck. You gotta. And a women's program is probably going to be a better place. If you are somebody who feels uncomfortable in a co-ed situation and that kind of stuff, then definitely go for it. There are secular meetings for sobriety. AA is secular, whether you've heard that or not. It actually is. Life Ring is one. Smart Recovery is one. Is self-management and recovery training. That can be like incredibly helpful for people. There's a lot of places you can go to get a form of recovery that is a structured situation. They all sort of operate within the idea of taking steps to work through your trauma in order to recover from alcohol and drug addiction. Basically, it's just you got to go out, and you don't have to hit rock bottom. Rock bottom's a stupid myth. It doesn't exist. You don't have to hit rock bottom in order to go to meetings or whatever. The only thing to go to meetings is you just have to go. That's the only thing. Anyhow, guys, I am running late on time today. So we got it's 4:15, which means I got 15 less minutes to get the stuff done before I got to go get Olivia F5. So I want to say thanks to everybody for coming out. Rosie with the super chat, thank you very much. Did we get any new members today? I don't think we did. Wait, is that a new member? No, that's Rosie's super chat. Thank you, Rosie, for sponsoring today's show for $5 American. Nobody showed up into the Discord call, so we're gonna just get out of there. Anyhow, so that's going to be it for today. If you feel like it, become a member or go up on Patreon and be a super cheap patronizer if you want. That's fine by me. I'm cool with that. It's Friday. If you do decide to go out and go party and go get some drinks and do whatever it is that you do, remember to drive safe. Take a taxi cab, take an Uber, take a whatever. Get a designated driver. Do not get drunk and drive in a car. Do not get high and drive in a car. I saw 3 different people smoking weed in traffic yesterday, and I have to admit, I showed off a level of restraint, but But just a reminder, just because weed is legal doesn't mean you can smoke it while driving. It's just asinine and stupid. So let's be safe out there, folks. It's Friday. Let's have a good weekend and keep on doing what we're doing.